Can you hear me and see me?
I cannot hear her voice.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Denise. This is Melinda Roy. I'm the host of this today's conference, WYN Summit, Womenium Summit 2022 in Dubai for the 2 days conference. I'm the host. So this is Melinda Roy. And how are you, Denise?
I am great. How are you? So happy to
I'm
be here virtually.
So we are with physical speakers in Dubai. So we are enjoying this moment in Dubai. So yeah. So so before we start your presentation, so we will play an introduction video about you. So after the introduction video, you can start your presentation. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Denise Revel is a CEO, founder, award-nominated best-selling author, international speaker, and personal development and business coach. For over 25 years, Dr. Denise has worked as a speech-language pathologist. Her job has been to help her clients discover their voices. Dr. Denise founded the Own Your Amazing movement, a personal development and business company. The Own Your Amazing movement focuses on women who feel stuck and frustrated to dig deeper to find their voice and live their authentic lives out loud. Through coaching, mentoring, and workshops, Dr. Denise ignites and energizes women to find the power to be authentic, to show up more powerfully, and create extraordinary lives they love. Dr. Denise has a bachelor's degree in speech-language pathology and audiology, a master's degree in communication sciences and disorders, and a doctorate in human services with a specialization in multicultural counseling and coaching. She has owned a private speech therapy practice for over 15 years.
Yes, Dr. Denise, you can go ahead and occupy the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Excuse me. I just want to share just a few information about leadership. So excited to be here. Excuse me, talking about leadership. Excuse me. It's early where I am, and my voice is still waking up, but I'll get it together. So my talk is about the power of leadership being an inside job. The power of leadership being an inside job. So today I'm excited to share with you how you can boldly step into being an amazing and authentic leader who is more confident and happier. Whether you're a first-time manager, a seasoned leader, or someone just looking to make a difference, understanding the power of leadership as an inside job is essential to your success. So I remember when I first became a manager of a department at a school over the speech therapy department. So there were 3 full-time employees there and 3 interns. So I inherited a staff of 6 people. And so over the years of being in that position, I really had to learn a lot about what does it really take to be a leader. And so I want to share some of those things with you that I learned along the way to help me in order to be a successful leader. But I have a question for you. I want to ask you guys some questions. Has there ever been a time in your life where you really wanted to step up as a leader, but you didn't? And then what did you tell yourself that made you stop or not fully step up into your leadership power? Think about that. Well, there are times where you really wanted to step up as a leader, but you didn't. And then ask yourself, well, what did I tell myself that made me stop doing that? Here's another question. As a leader, have you ever done things that your boss or your supervisor told you to do, even though it did not align with your own personal values and personal morals? I know that was me. How about this one? Have you ever done something because that's what everyone else around you wanted you to do, and you didn't want to be different? You didn't want to stand out? What about you? I know that was me. So I believe the choices, the actions, the reactions that we make determine what kind of leader we are, how we're showing up in these leadership positions. Again, the choices you make, the actions you take, and even the reactions that you have to certain situations really define who you are as a leader. Leaders must adapt to the changing demands of the environments if they want to be successful. We have to be able to adapt, to change, to move, and to go with, not necessarily go with the flow, but be able to change our perspective and ideas and truly evolve as leaders. Statistics show that leaders who are continually adapting to change and evolving are the ones that have long-time success. So today I just want to share with you 3 things that I believe will help you to become even a better leader than you already are, right? So there are 3 things I want to share. First of all, powerful leadership begins with identifying who you are as a leader. Let me say it again. Powerful leadership begins with you identifying who you are as a leader. You need to understand who you are as a leader, because who you are as a leader shows up in the workplace. It shows up in how you interact with your team and your boss and supervisors and whomever. But who you are, you got to get a real sense of who you are as a leader, your identity as a leader, because that's where the real power lies, when you show up as your authentic self. There's a saying that says, to thy own self, be true. But there's so many times, I don't know about you, but I know for me, and over my career, where I was asked to do things that did not align with who I felt like I was as a person and as a leader. And so when we're faced with situations like that, what do we do? Do we go with the flow? Do we do what everyone else expects us to do? Or do we stand in our own power as a leader? So a lot of us become people pleasers, or I say boss pleasers. You do what your boss wants you to do. You do what the manager wants you to do. But deep down inside, you know, this is not who I am. This is not what I really want to do. And there's really no power in that, because it's tiresome, it's depleting, and it's really stressful. But effective leadership understands I am going to stand for my authentic, true self. So I remember taking this position as a leader over this department, and I was replacing someone else who had been there, a number of years before I came on board. And I remember one of the people on my team saying to me on numerous occasions, well, the old supervisor didn't do it like this. Or the person we had in this position before, she did it this way. Like, why are you doing it differently, right? And so it really helped me to understand I had to stand for my own self, and I had to stand for my own personal leadership. And so one example is this person said, well, our previous supervisor had an open door policy. Well, I didn't. I did not have an open door policy. What does it mean by having an open door policy? It means that you can just come in and talk to me anytime you want to. My door is always open. And I had to tell my team, no, my door is not always open. In fact, sometimes my door has to be closed, because I was in meetings, or I may have been talking about confidential information with someone, right? And so I told them, no, I don't have an open door policy, But what I do have is that when you let me know you want to have a meeting with me or talk to me about something, my door is open for that. And so I said, and I'll close the door so that you and I can have our meeting. And I said, here's the thing. You can have my full attention. I told this one person, I said, if I have an open door policy and you and I end up talking about something really important and someone else just barges in, how would you feel about that? So now my attention has been divided. You don't have my undivided attention. And I said, so it's beneficial for all of us if you say, hey, I want to have a meeting with you, or can we chat in a few minutes? Because then you have my full attention. But really the point was I had to demonstrate that this is the kind of leader I am. Yes, I believe in open communication, collaboration, but also understood for me, it meant I want to make sure I'm giving my staff the full attention they deserved. And so oftentimes, again, we do what other people want us to do because we're not willing to stand up and stand in our own personal power, right? So here's what you got to do. Now is the time for you to really identify yourself as a leader. Today, I want you to write down at least one way, just one, not a million, just one way that you are going to start standing in your own personal power. I want you to identify yourself. One quality as if you want to identify yourself as a leader. What's that one thing you're going to say? This is what I stand for as a leader. This is who I am. And that's going to be important because, again, as you continue to evolve as a leader and get leadership positions, there are going to be people going to come to you asking you to do certain things. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand for yourself, or are you going to continue to allow other people to dictate how you lead? Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's understanding the importance of this whole leadership paradigm shift. All right, let me say that again. The importance of this whole leadership paradigm shift. So what do I mean by that? See, most people, when they think about leadership, they think about looking at others. I'm a leader. I'm looking at other people. I'm looking at my team. I'm looking at what's going on, right? But to really be an effective and powerful leader, you need to shift your paradigm, or you need to shift your perspective and what it means to truly be a leader. Leadership is a matter of having people look at you to gain confidence and to see how you're acting and reacting, right? So there's a saying that says, when you're in control, they're in control. But if you're out of control, your team is out of control. But oftentimes a leader, we're looking at what everybody else is doing. But my question for you today is that, what are you doing? How are you showing up as a leader? Part of being a successful leader is your ability to set the bar. You set the standard, right? You are a role model, and you are a demonstration of what it means to be excellent as a leader. And so again, are you demonstrating what an effective leader looks like? And so why do you need to shift your perspective in terms of looking outside instead of looking inside first, right? I'm telling you, it's a true paradigm shift that when I talk to leaders about leadership, they always talk about the team. And I always asking them, well, what about you? How are you showing up? How you been a demonstration of what you want your team to do and to be, right? And so before we can lead others, we got to learn how to lead ourselves. Have you ever played a game as a kid? I know I have. It's called Follow the Leader. Follow the Leader. It's a game called Follow the Leader. So you have one kid in front. You may have, 5 kids behind him. And this kid, whatever the leader does, everyone else has to do behind him. So if the leader is waving his hands, then everyone else is waving their hands. If the leader is just shaking, then everybody else must shake it. So here's the thing. If you are a leader, they're following you. And so we have to ask ourselves as leaders, am I being a demonstration of what I want other people to follow and to do, right? How can I ask my team to do something I myself is not doing? I remember I was on this job and my supervisor used to constantly come in late. 2 or 3 times a week, she's coming in late, right? So myself and some of the other team members, well, guess what we did? We came in late sometimes too. Because our supervisor did, right? And so then the powers that be, my supervisor, sitting down a company-wide memo saying everybody needs to be here on time. So guess what? My supervisor started coming in on time. The team started coming on time, right? So I remember we were in a staff meeting with just my supervisor and our team. She was talking about coming in. She was like, I can't really say anything to you guys about coming in late because I come in late. So again, if we expect other people to do certain things, we have to look at ourselves and say, well, what am I demonstrating? How am I showing up in the workplace? And so what are some ways you need to show up more as a leader first, and then for others secondly, right? What are some ways you need to show up as a leader for yourself first and then for others? Do you need to hold yourself more accountable for getting your work done on time? Do you need to hold yourself more accountable for doing the things that you said you were going to do? Do you need to start speaking up more? You want your team to speak up, but are you speaking up? Are you being a very good advocate, right? And do you need to grow more professionally? Do you need to get more skills? Do you need to get more training? What is it? So if we're expecting other people to do it, we need to expect that same for ourselves, and even more if we call ourselves being leaders of the pack, right? So again, the shift is from looking at others as leaders, but looking at ourselves first, right? So we are the leader and we want other people to follow us. So we have to be that demonstration of what it means to be a true leader. So here's what I want you to do. One thing, right? I want you to write down one thing that you will do to improve your personal leadership skills. Not looking at your team, you'll get to that. But look at you, right? What is that you need to do? Even if you're the leader of your house, right? Your family. What do you need to do differently? You know, we expect other people around us to change and evolve and do better. But oftentimes we're not asking ourselves, well, what do I need to do differently? How do I need to change and grow? And that's where effective leadership comes from, because when people see you're doing it, then they're more apt to do it as well. But how can we ask other people to do things, again, that we ourselves aren't doing? So again, it's a paradigm shift. Instead of looking outside, we got to look inside, okay? And so the third part is you got to develop a leadership plan. You got to develop a plan to lead more effectively. See, leadership is a valuable skill that everyone from any vocation, any background can use to benefit themselves and other people. But for a lot of us, leadership doesn't come easy or come naturally. It's something we have to work on. But even if it does come easy, I still think it's something we all can work on and improve on, right? So it's exciting to have conferences like this and talking about women in leadership and how can we get better at what we're doing. And so there are some strategies that we can use to help us become even better leaders and more confident and bold in how we lead other people. So here's the thing. It's important that you focus on your leadership skills, but most importantly, you have to be intentional about it. Oftentimes we think, oh, it's just going to happen. I'm just going to naturally learn how to do X, Y, and Z. No, I'm telling you, you have to have a plan and you have to be intentional about what it is you want to do in terms of leading, in terms of improving your leadership skills. So here's a saying. It says, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. Again, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. A lot of times we just kind of do things kind of haphazardly, like, oh, this is what I'm going, we won't really get a lot of thought to, but we have to be intentional about it. We have to say, this is where I'm struggling in terms of my leadership, and this is what I'm going to do about it, okay? So a lot of times we just think that it's up to other people to develop us as leaders. It's not up to your boss. It's not up to your supervisor. It's up to you. If you want to become a better leader, then you have to be intentional about it. You have to make sure you're getting the things that you need to improve yourself as a leader. Other times we think, well, I don't really need to change. It's the team. It's everyone else around me. It's my husband. It's my family. No, oftentimes it's us. It's you. It's me. And that we can get really clear about where we are and where we are trying to be, then we work on those things. And that makes us even better as leaders and even as people and as women. And a lot of times we say, well, I don't really know where to start. Well, here, I'm going to help you get started. So here are 3 things I want to help you to develop your leadership plan. The first thing you need to do is focus on your goals and vision. So you have to say, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. Okay. So I use the example of turning in your work on time. Maybe that's a thing that you struggle with. You miss your deadlines, right? But for a lot of us in leadership, we can't miss those deadlines, but they're critical to our work and those who work with us, right? So just say you want to work on making sure you're getting your deadlines met. So the first thing is, that's the goal. I want to turn my things in on time. And then the next thing you have to do is learn to identify and use all your resources. What do you need to put in place? What do you need to get so that you can turn your things in on time? For me, I use a planner. If it's not on my planner, probably not going to get done. And so I found myself over the years, things started to slip. I was missing deadlines. I was missing, important meetings, important things I needed to turn in. It was like, get a planner. I can't keep it all in my head anymore. There's a lot up here. So I have to write it down to hold myself accountable and make myself get notes. And so what I tend to do, if I have something due on today, I probably got it done 2 days ago, just to give me that buffer of time so I'm not rushed and stressed trying to meet deadlines. I used to do that. It didn't work. I wasn't effective. And so I was like, so I had to use a planner. I had to use my time management skills. Sometimes I even ask other people, like, hey, remind me about this or ask me about this so I can, stay accountable to this. So use whatever resources you may need. You might need a coach. You might need a mentor. I don't know, but whatever it is, get the resources you need. And then the third part is take action. Do something about it, really. So you got to get focused on your goals. You got to identify your resources, and then you have to take action. You have to actually do it. Put some things into place. Don't just think about it. Be about it, as they say, right? So it's a quote that someone says that I love. It says, knowledge is power, but taking action is life-changing. You would change your life when you take some action. Our lives don't change just by thinking about something. Our lives change when we do something about it, okay? So those are the 3 things I want you to think about when it comes to understanding that leadership is an inside job. The first one is understanding that leadership begins with identifying who you are as a leader. And number 2 is you got to develop, number 2 is you have to understand the importance of this whole paradigm shift when it comes to leadership. Again, most people talk about leadership being out there, your team. I'm talking about it's an inside job. Leadership, it starts with you. The first person you need to lead is yourself. And then thirdly, you got to get a plan on how you're going to do that. You got to put something in place to help you to be more effective as a leader. So before I go, I want you to think about something. Just imagine for a moment, you are that leader. You are the person you have always dreamt you could be in terms of leadership, showing up boldly, leading your team, making the impact, right? I want you to think about that. Catch that vision. And more importantly, I'm going to need you to hold on to that vision of you being this powerful, amazing leader. What does that look like for you? And then I want you to ask yourself, well, what difference would that make? What would be the impact on your life if you showed up in the way that you know you want to show up as a leader? What's the impact on your work, on your job? Some of us are self-employed, on your businesses, even on your personal life, on your family life. What difference would that make? What's the impact of that? And so you got to really know that it's important that you show up more powerfully as a leader because of the impact it can have in your life and the lives of those that you serve. And so I hope the things that I share with you today has resonated with you, will make a difference. Take what you can from it, take a nugget or two and really think about it, ponder it, put it in something that you can do, but I really want you to take action, okay? Because I want us to be more confident leaders and truly stand in our power as women. But we have to make sure we're doing the things we need to do for that to happen. And so I want to leave you with one thing. I have a gift for you. And it's called The Leader, Becoming the Amazing Leader You Always Wanted to Be. And it's a worksheet, right? It's going to help you to answer some of these questions, some of the things that I posed today, that you can write about it. You can reflect on, well, how am I showing up as a leader? One of the first questions in this worksheet is, what is leadership? How do you define leadership? Not how other people define it, but how do you define it for yourself? How are you wanting to show up as a leader, right? And so that's important, again, about identifying your own self as a leader. Then other questions talk about what are the things you need to work on? What are some resources you need to put in place to help you with your goals and dreams of becoming a more effective leader? So I want to share that with you. And you can find that worksheet at ownyouramazingnowcom/leadership worksheet. Again, ownyouramazingnowcom/leadership worksheet. So download that free resource so that you can see where you are in terms of your leadership and what you think about leadership. Have you been looking at other people instead of focusing on you? This is going to help you to focus on you so you can see where you are to be more an effective leader, okay? So now more so than ever, we need true leadership. The world needs women like you and I who are willing to boldly step into our leadership so that we can make this amazing impact on the world. But before we can lead others, we have to lead ourselves. And so I truly believe true, excellent, and effective leadership It's an inside job. So start there and the rest will be easy. All right. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Dr. Denise Revel, the Own Your Amazing mentor and coach. I'm here to help women to find their amazing, to live more boldly out loud, and to really own who you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Denise,
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
about
it. I
starting.
appreciate the love.
So if you want to rate Dr. Denny's presentation, just go to the messages tab and go to this, and you can rate the presentation of this Dr. Dennis. And if you want to reach out Dr. Dennis, just go to our social media, that is Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel. So you can find it out using her name, Dr. Dennis. Is that right, Dr. Dennis?
Yes.
So, yeah, I like your hairstyle.
Excuse me.
I like your hair.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, and here is the question from our audience.
Okay.
So, so, what is the first thing to be a leader?
What is the first thing to be a leader?
Yes.
The first thing to be a leader is for you to define what leadership means to you. I cannot define what leadership is for you because you can't define it for me. You know, that's the work that I do. The first thing I always ask my clients, well, who are you for you? We spend so much time allowing other people to define us that we don't define it for ourselves. So for whoever asked the question, ask say, well, how do you define leadership? What does that mean for you? And it does not have to align with what everyone else says. But how do you, because I might say leadership for me has been authentic. I might say leadership for me has been confident. I might say leadership for me is not allowing fear to overtake me. That's my definition. Someone else might come up with something totally different that works for them. But for me, leadership is being, how do I show up for myself? Am I taking care of myself? Am I speaking up for myself? That's what leadership has to do for me. I hope that
Yeah.
answered the question.
Yes, good answer. Thank you. And so we are in Dubai, and we do have another event in Paris as well next year, March 8th and 9th. It is on Ultimate Women's Expo. So yeah. So you can, if you are interested, you can register with the Paris event as well. So we need a speakers like you, so who will motivational speakers, entrepreneurs, leaders. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. And thank you so much for being a part of this WIN conferences as a speaker. We are so honored to be that you are the speaker for this WIN conferences. So, and have a great day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis, and have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.
So, so let's move on to the another speaker. Please join the another session.